What happens after we die? Discovering the mystery of Sheol. For thousands of years, people have asked, what happens to us when we die? Each culture has its own ideas about the afterlife. One of the most interesting is the ancient Hebrew idea of Sheol. Sheol wasn't exactly like our modern ideas of heaven or hell. Instead, it was a mysterious place that represented both peace and consequences after life. Today, let's take a journey to understand what Sheol meant to people back then and why it still matters to many today. The ancient Hebrews' view of Sheol. The ancient Hebrews believed that Sheol was where souls went after death. But Sheol wasn't just an empty space where people waited. It was divided into two parts. To the Hebrews, Sheol was a place of justice. How people lived their lives would decide what happened to them there. The two parts of Sheol, Abraham's bosom and Gehenna. Sheol had two different parts. Abraham's bosom was one side of Sheol where good people went. It was peaceful, comforting, and a place of rest. Think of a place where love surrounds you, where you feel safe and joyful, and where pain and sadness are no more. That was Abraham's bosom, a reward for those who lived good, kind lives. The other side of Sheol was Gehenna, a place of suffering. This was where people who had lived selfish or harmful lives ended up. Gehenna was often imagined as a place of regret and sorrow, where people faced the consequences of the bad things they had done. It was a serious reminder to the Hebrews that how we treat others matters, and that there could be real consequences after death. The story of Lazarus and the rich man. In the Bible, the story of Lazarus and the rich man gives us a clear picture of these two parts of Sheol. Lazarus was a poor man who had a very hard life, but after he died, he went to Abraham's bosom and found peace. The rich man, who had enjoyed luxury in life, but ignored those in need, ended up in Gehenna, where he suffered greatly. This story shows us that what we do in this life affects what happens in the next. It reminds us that treating others with kindness and respect is important, not just here, but for what comes after. Sheol as a place of justice. For the ancient Hebrews, Sheol represented justice, even after life ended. Sheol was a reminder that people should be accountable for their actions even after death. This idea of Sheol taught them that life isn't just about what happens on earth. It's about preparing for what comes next and living in a way that matters. Hope beyond Sheol. Even though Sheol was a mysterious and sometimes dark place, the Hebrews held on to hope. Job, a figure in the Bible who suffered deeply, believed that there was hope beyond Sheol. In Psalm 33, we read, "O Lord, you have brought up my soul from Sheol." To them, Sheol didn't have to be the end. It could lead to something greater. How Jesus transformed the meaning of Sheol. Then came Jesus, whose teachings completely changed how people thought of Sheol. Through Jesus, Sheol was no longer just a place of darkness or consequences. He gave new meaning to Sheol, making it a passage to something beautiful and everlasting, eternal life with God. Jesus promised that those who followed him would have a place in paradise, a place even better than Abraham's bosom. This promise showed people that death was not the end. Instead, it was the beginning of a new life with God. In Revelation 21, we read that in this new life, there will be no more tears, no more sorrow, and no more pain. Jesus' resurrection gave people hope and showed that light could overcome darkness and that life was stronger than death. Paradise, life forever with God. Jesus' resurrection brought the hope of paradise, a place of peace, happiness, and unity with God. This was no longer just a promise of rest, but of joy that would never end. Imagine being in a place where you feel completely loved, where pain and fear are gone, and where you live in harmony with God. This is what Jesus promised to those who believe and follow him. Why Sheol still matters today. So, why does Sheol still matter to us today? First, it's a reminder that our choices in life have meaning. How we treat others and live our lives can have lasting effects, even beyond death. It teaches us that justice and kindness are important values, not just here, but in the life that comes after. Sheol also reminds us that there is hope beyond this life. For Christians, Jesus' teachings and resurrection changed the meaning of Sheol, offering hope and a promise of eternal life. Sheol's story is a message that death is not an end but a beginning, and that living with love, compassion, and purpose prepares us for the life to come. Joining the conversation on Sheol. Even today, people reflect on Sheol's meaning. It invites us to ask questions about what it means to live a good life and what kind of legacy we leave behind. Sheol's story encourages us to live with kindness and seek peace with others. So let's think together about these questions. What does Sheol's story teach us about life? How can Jesus' teachings about love and forgiveness shape how we live? And how does the promise of eternal life give us hope in our daily lives? The mystery of Sheol has many layers, but it all points back to the hope of a life filled with purpose, love, and peace, both now and beyond. So let's think together about these questions. What does Sheol's story teach us about life? How can Jesus' teachings about love and forgiveness shape how we live? And how does the promise of eternal life give us hope in our daily lives? The mystery of Sheol has many layers, but it all points back to the hope of a life filled with purpose, love, and peace, both now and beyond. The legacy of Sheol in modern life. In today's world, the legacy of Sheol reminds us that the choices we make each day are valuable and lasting. It encourages us to embrace compassion, integrity, and justice as core parts of who we are. Even though life can be challenging and moments of hardship inevitable, Sheol's story offers guidance on how to rise above these trials. It calls us to be mindful of how our actions affect others, reminding us that we are all connected. Each act of kindness, every moment of forgiveness, and each time we uplift someone else, we create echoes that resonate far beyond our lifetime. Sheol also calls us to live with intention. This ancient idea tells us that life's true meaning is found not in riches or status, but in living a life that reflects genuine care, love, and humility. When we consider Sheol's message, we're invited to live in a way that values people over possessions, relationships over rivalry, and integrity over influence. Embracing eternal values. For many, Sheol's reminder of justice in the afterlife is deeply comforting. It suggests that goodness, fairness, and compassion will ultimately prevail. When we reflect on this, it can motivate us to incorporate these eternal values into our everyday lives. It can encourage us to live with patience, kindness, and courage, even in the face of adversity. The promise of paradise, as Jesus taught, reinforces the importance of these virtues, providing strength and inspiration for those who strive to make a positive difference. Living in light of eternity, Jesus' transformation of Sheol into a promise of eternal life shifts our view from worry about what comes after to hope for a life of eternal love with God. For believers, this promise reframes our time here on earth as part of a greater journey toward wholeness. When we think about life in light of eternity, even the hardest moments can take on new meaning. Every challenge becomes an opportunity for growth, every obstacle a chance to strengthen our faith, and every kindness a seed sown for the future. Reflecting on eternity can empower us to face our fears and doubts, knowing that life's hardships are temporary compared to the everlasting peace that awaits. It encourages us to live in such a way that our actions honor the God who offers life beyond this world. The comfort of hope and faith. Sheol's story reminds us that death is not a final destination, but a doorway to new life. This brings comfort to those facing loss and sorrow, offering peace through faith and the assurance that love endures beyond this life. When we hold on to Jesus' teachings, we are reminded that pain and sadness will one day be replaced by joy and peace in the presence of God. The message of Sheol, transformed by Jesus, tells us that even in moments of darkness, there is always light to guide us. This promise of eternal life strengthens our hope and helps us keep going, even when times are tough. It's a reminder that God's love never leaves us and that He is with us every step of the way. Sheol, a call to reflection and action. As we reflect on the mystery of Sheol, it's not only a call to prepare for the life to come, but to make the most of this life here and now. How can we live each day in a way that brings joy to others and honors the life we've been given? How can we seek reconciliation, show mercy, and bring peace to those around us. By letting Sheol's message inspire our actions, we can live each day with gratitude, hope, and love, finding peace in God's plan. In the end, the story of Sheol invites us to find peace in God's plan. It tells us that God's justice is real, His love is infinite, and His promise of eternal life is certain. By embracing this message, we are free to live without fear, trusting that God's love guides us now and forever. As we consider the mystery and meaning of Sheol, may it lead us to a deeper understanding of ourselves and a stronger commitment to a life of kindness, faith, and hope. Sheol's story reminds us that our journey is just beginning, and that with God's love, we can face both today and eternity with courage, peace, and joy.